You're listening to the G&D show with Govinda and Dan of City of Bristol College. If you've got any comments or questions for us to read out on the show, then email us at thegdshowbristol@gmail.com. Again, that's thegdshowbristol@gmail.com. Let's get on with the show. Hello and welcome back to another episode of the G&D show. My name's Dan, as you all know, and my wonderful compadre and co-host here on the screen to the right of me, technically to my right, but actually to my left. Your left, my right. Say hello, mate. I can't. I'm gonna just keep talking.
Yeah, it's Gigi.
Here's Gigi.
To the right, to the left, like Beyonce, right? What's that song?
Yeah, to the left. Irreplaceable is the name of that song. Fantastic track. We love to hear it. So we're going to start, as we do with every episode, with a phrase of the day. And Gigi and I actually went through a couple based on the theme that we're going with today. And this one actually seemed to land the best with both of us. So we're going to go with this. This is Lisa Oliveira, which whom I don't know, but it seems to be someone in the... Actually, no, I don't think that's quite it. I'm just going to say Lisa Oliveira. I'm going to do that. And she said...
There, by the way, Dan.
Thank you very much. I try to be, culturally conscious in the way that I pronounce things. I don't want to say everything like fish and chips and bangers and mash. Just because no one else can heal or do your inner work for you doesn't mean you can, should, or need to do it alone. So I'm because Gigi and I actually discussed this one before we started recording. Gigi, you go ahead and explain your side of that quote.
Yeah, I think this quote's really relevant. I think the reason why it's relevant is I think so many people out there, bless them, and we'll talk about this in a second, are struggling on their own with, maybe their mental health, maybe their emotions, maybe their mind, right? And I feel there's this added pressure, which almost is alleviated by this quote, in a sense, is that if you are going to do any work, you're on a journey, reach out and ask for help. Really do it, rather than later on where actually it becomes a lot more difficult to actually deal with your problems or even address them. And that's what I'm getting from this quote. So I actually couldn't have picked a better quote at this time and moment.
For sure. And I'm actually going to bring to light the fact that you and I actually had a conversation today, this very day, that honestly was more healing to me than I realized. So, of course, you guys know, like before lockdown, we were all able to go into, some of us were able to go into college and so on. Gigi and I certainly were going into college, and we would share some space in our little working areas. And we would have conversations around personal development and some of the bigger topics. And we loved it. But when we went into lockdown, those conversations ended. And actually, it was in a chat we had earlier in the week that highlighted to me that I needed those conversations too. And it's not that we were able to work out any of our personal grievances or any of our personal tensions, but actually just the fact that we were able to talk to someone about stuff that we enjoy talking about. That's it.
For sure.
And that really gave me life. And I actually had I was very low energy at the beginning of that conversation, dude. But just talking about that stuff alone, it filled me up quite a bit, more than I expected it to. And I think that's what it speaks to, is that I couldn't have sat by myself and thought that conversation. I couldn't have read that conversation to myself and felt better. It was actually in the exercise and practice of communicating with another human being over the phone on a topic that I was excited about.
Yeah, that's so cool.
That actually filled me up. And it filled me up in two ways, because I also had lunch throughout the entire conversation.
Yeah, definitely did.
I'm so sorry, man.
Good.
There were literally moments where I couldn't even say words because my mouth was so full. Throughout the entire that conversation. But no, it says it all, that right now, with regards to our mental stability, and we will indeed go into it in more detail, is at the very base level, if we can just have someone to talk to, that would be great. And of course, before we go into the next segment, I'm going to say a few things about how you can get in touch with us so that you don't isolate yourself too much during these times.
Absolutely, Dan. Give them the vital information.
So, here on the G&D show, Gigi and I are not just voices behind a screen or in your ears. We are real people offering a very real service to all members of City of Bristol College, that's staff and students. Gigi and I are both life and performance coaches, and our roles here are to support people in their development during lockdown, during quarantine. And we do that in a multitude of ways. Multitude. Not a multitude, that's not a word. So one of the ways is one-to-one coaching. We'll sit down with you via Teams or via Zoom, and we will go through any goals that you're looking to achieve, be it I want to get here or I want to stop this from happening. And we'll have those one-to-one conversations with you, and they can last, as long as you decide they need to last. The other thing that we do is we both offer group sessions that you can reach out to us via an email I'll share with you at the end to book in. So you can either book in your sessions and have Gigi do an online session with your learners when you choose, or you could join me in the Teams classrooms, the other subject, Monday, Wednesday and Thursday at 4 p.m. And we can just have those live sessions there where you just sit in with me and we have a good time that way. It's completely up to you. But that's on top of this podcast that we offer here. If any of that sounds interesting to you, then you can email us at thegdshowbristol@gmail.com. And you can ask us about any of those services, and we will absolutely do our utmost to ensure that you get what you came for. Right, let's get back to the show. So we have a guest later on, Jonny Elphinstone, and Jonny is a magnificent human being who shares with us, some of the things that he is challenged with during lockdown and mental health. And that's why we decided to bring this subject up today and talk about it, because there's no doubt in our minds, particularly because this is actually coming out half term as well, that some of you guys out there, maybe just need a little bit of, hey, how are you doing? What's happening with you? How's it going? What's up? So in order to kick this off, I'm actually going to very irresponsibly hand this over to Gigi to say a few words about mental health and lockdown, and we'll get this conversation going. But remember, at any point, if you want to reach out to us, if you have any comments, questions, anything at all, then email us at thegdshowbristol@gmail.com, or of course, leave a comment in the YouTube video if you like. And, either we'll get back to you straight away if you need us to, or we'll answer it in next week's episode. Gigi, though, take it away.
Absolutely.
Talk about it.
Thank you very much. I mean, as you can imagine, Dan, and our listeners, I always say viewers. I don't know why I say viewers, but listeners, that, tackling such a topic is going to require a level of sensitivity and respect to those who are going through stuff at the moment. And so I think ultimately going back and looking at the moment with the plethora of different mental health issues at the moment, and people are going to be affected in many different ways, and therefore, it's difficult to just give one generic, this is what's going on for everyone, although there might be traits of that going on. I think what I would extend out to you guys is to talking to many people at the moment, coaching them during lockdown. I think what's come up the most for me is me being extra sensitive and listening, is that the vast majority of people I've spoken to have said that they are missing a routine right now, right? And let me just say very clearly, with full confidence, this is not Gigi or Dan saying that having a routine is going to solve your issues. I think it might take that level of confidence to come and speak to us or your teacher if you want to do some work with us. But let me explain to you why structure and having a routine is so important. At the very beginning of lockdown, whether it's the first one, the second one, or the one now, we can all agree that at the very beginning, it's kind of fun a little bit. There's no responsibility. It's kind of like Home Alone, isn't it? You're like, you're just doing whatever you can, whenever you can, sleeping in late, and that's it. But the problem with that is that us human beings, we have a knack of building habits. Whether they're good or bad is not the discussion, but we build habits. And I think a lot of people are panicking right now because they don't have any, positive habits or any structure around, their routine anymore. And so what I'm saying to you is, what I urge you guys to do is very simple, is that if you are in that situation, what I would suggest is just to sit down a little while and just have a little look at what needs to be done on a day-to-day basis. Bear in mind, you're in isolation, okay? Overthinking is not your friend right now. So I don't want you to go and write a philosophical book right now. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, think about what you'd like to do. Just something very simple in the morning, like a task list of 3 things and no more, just to get your structure going, just to get your routine going again. Because, sooner or later, we're going to have to be back in college anyway. And then people are going to be like, well, I'm not ready for this right now. But I do think structure is important right now, especially with mental health. Um, it just, I'm not necessarily saying it distracts you, but although it can be a good coping mechanism, I think your brain is derived or meant to seek meaning in life. And although it's not the grander things, it's not the bigger things, it's not like the meaning of life, it certainly is one step closer to doing something a little bit more productive with, your time and stuff like that. I mean, Dan, what's been coming up for you at the moment with lockdown and mental health issues?
I don't know if it helps actually.
Hmm.
If it will help, but I'm going to speak on this, tacking on to what you just kind of said at the end there.
Hmm.
Is and this is something that's been playing on my mind as I've started to understand more and more about why we live the way we live more recently. And I'll try
Hmm.
not to go into that part too much because I'll just go right off. I'm going to go off the beaten track because it's been something that's been very interesting to me this week.
Sure.
It's what you said about the fact that our brains are geared towards finding purpose, and not big purpose but little purpose. And actually it made me think, right? when, when, we're actually, from a very early age, we're given this idea that we're supposed to be doing stuff.
Hmm.
We're supposed to be learning. We're supposed to be producing. We're supposed to be creating. We're supposed to be active. We're supposed to be productive. And we're told this, right?
Hmm.
Of course, we might argue that, some kids will naturally, build a tower of blocks, or they'll create something, or they'll want to paint something. But that's their desire to do that. That is a desire, not an imposed thing to say, oi, paint the walls right now. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
And I think what we're coming up against at the moment is, and I actually say this because it's kind of personal, to be honest with you. I
Hmm.
spoke with my coach / counselor today about this, because I got a guy that can do both.
Always
and,
helpful.
um, and yeah, and it's really, it's batting up against this essence of, I must be doing something. I must be doing something. Mike Posner, an artist, talks about this. A musician. Some of you may know who that is. I know he still makes music now, but he spoke about this when he went off into isolation, like voluntary isolation, into the woods, and he spoke about this great desire he became aware of for his mind to want to do something when there was nothing to do, and it almost got to this point of anxiety
Hmm.
where he felt like he was, going to implode or explode or die or something. It was really overwhelming until eventually the moment popped. And actually, as part of an NLP practice, neuro-linguistic programming, in which you can actually explode a sensation to the point where it's reached an extreme that it doesn't matter anymore. It pops and
Hmm.
it kind of implodes in itself. And it almost like it reverted back. It's almost like the fear, the anxiety played a game of chicken with itself until eventually it realized it couldn't go no further and fell off the edge of a cliff and nothing happened. And he was like, oh, wait, so I don't actually have to be productive. I don't actually have to produce anything. I don't actually have to do anything. There's a lot of things telling me that I do, and a lot of things telling me that if I don't, the worst thing will happen to me. Like, I could end up homeless, or I could end up dead, or I could end up paralyzed, or I could end up, really stressed. But actually, how much of that is actually fundamentally true? Because if I'm left to no pressure, it's not that I will do nothing. Actually, I will do as I please, which is different from doing as I am told.
Hmm.
And that's what's got me down this path of thinking. I think now I don't want to speak for everyone listening right now, of course, but I certainly want to say that one of the things that I've definitely relaxed into, because I've been pretty much working from home 90% of the 3 lockdowns, to be honest with you. And one of the things I've really relaxed into is that ability to go, do you know what? There are things that I absolutely do want to do. There are things that I absolutely do want to create, produce, and so on. But at this point, I cannot. I just cannot. And so I'm not going to. I'm going to keep it there, and I'm going to, work on it. Continue to absorb what's happening on the world around me, and so on and so forth. Work on it and address it. But fundamentally, I'm going to put it on pause, and I'm going to chill. I'm actually going to do nothing, and I'm going to practice getting good at doing guilt-free nothing. When work is called, I will work. When there is stuff to do, I will do it. And, if I need to get stuff done, I will get that stuff done. But when I have done that stuff, and when all tasks are complete, I'm going to practice the art of allowing myself some damn peace. Away from the pressure, away from the stress, away from the nonsense. Because there is nothing else that can be done. And actually, if I allow myself to settle into the place where I play anxiety chicken, and basically it gets to this point. Obviously, I'm not suggesting anyone induce their own anxiety attack, by the way. I know some of you out there will be thinking, Dan, that's the most dangerous thing I could do. Obviously, don't do that.
Yep.
However, if you're aware you have the fortitude to do so, you're conscious you're able to do so, you sit and do nothing.
Yeah.
And honestly, pop. You will obviously get to quite a scary place, but eventually it pops. And it's not like you feel a pop. It's not like it actually pops. It's more the fact that suddenly the sensation just poof goes away.
It's amazing you say that, isn't it? Because I'm going to tell our audience a very funny anecdote. So there's a story, and is related to this. Is like you said, finding stillness is such a good quality to have right now.
Oh yeah.
It reminds me of a story. It's from Zen Buddhism from Japan, and it's about a very practiced and experienced meditator who meditated for most of his life, Dan, right? And he basically just had a moment where he wasn't meditating, and it all fell into place, right? Kind of like what you were saying. And his idea was like, well, I really didn't need meditation, right, to get to this place, because that thing has just happened. But actually, I tend to disagree with it, because it is that finding the stillness that gets you there in the first place, right?
No, absolutely.
There needs to be some sort of thing there. And you're right. Yes, for some people, stillness could mean, induce so much anxiety. I totally get that. And actually, as a side note, listening to what you're saying, I think you've hit a very important topic that both me and you have overseen, actually, and not even addressed, is that there are people out there who are very ambitious, who are working throughout lockdown. And when I mean work, I think they're putting extra workload on themselves, because because they're at home, they need to do more, right? And this is another thing. This is another extremity. And, teachers as well, I'm kind of looking at as well, because I've spoken to a lot of them, and some of them have other obligations. And it seems like right now during COVID, the cycle seems like you wake up in the morning, you flip your laptop open, and you're constantly looking at your laptop throughout the day. And there's no separation of private and work life now, right? And I think we owe it to ourselves to know what our limits are, right? Not necessarily be lazy, but know where our limits are, because we are at home, and it's very stressful to the mind and your mental health to be physically in front of a laptop 6-7 hours straight, maybe even more, without any break or separation, right? I don't think that's healthy for anyone. It doesn't matter how much you like your job. And by the way, this is guilt-free we're talking about here. It's not like, oh my God, I can't do that. I think it's important to have that, not like of course, I contradict myself here now, and we're all contradictory in some sort of way. But it just shows how important that separation is. It seems like everything's just swept all up in one now at home at COVID. And there's no mental break from certain stuff. There's no escaping it.
If anything that we say connects with anything that you're thinking, or if you have any inspiration from what we've been talking about, please do reach out and contact us at thegdshowbristol@gmail.com. Send us your comments, your questions. Of course, we'll read them aloud on the show. They will be anonymous. Or if you want to book us for any sessions, if you want to take us on for one-to-ones, then again, you can email us at thegdshowbristol@gmail.com. Let's get back to the show.
Hi guys, how's it going? This is our 4th or 5th episode of our podcast, and we have a very special guest today, who goes by the name of Jonny Elphinstone. Am I saying that correct, Jonny?
Yeah, you are. Yeah, you got
Perfect.
it right, which is pretty rare, to be honest.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah.
That's great. So, Jonny, we've just got a set of questions for us to ask you, for our listeners as well, because you are a very important figure in the college itself. But I think it'd be nice to kind of explain what you do. So, my first question to you, Jonny, is who are you? And I don't mean that in a philosophical way.
It could be though.
It could be. It
Yeah,
could well be.
Well, I'll try and limit it to just my job title before I go into too much depth about it. But so I'm the head of safeguarding for the college.
Yeah.
And with a student welfare kind of element to that as well. So
That's fantastic.
As well as safeguarding.
Nice, nice. I want to know how people get your name wrong. Just very quickly, because I think it reads quite phonetically. So I'm like, who gets that wrong? What other ways are they to say your name?
The way it all goes wrong is if people don't realise that a PH makes an F sound, and you get people falling over themselves trying to get epin, and it all just goes wrong from that
like you're in a state. The
exactly.
Elphinstones, yes.
It just gets longer and longer as people fall over themselves trying to work out how to say it.
Amazing. Okay, right. So good. So we've established now, don't say Jonny's name like that, okay? We've established that now.
That's right.
And also now you'll know, Jonny, if people are just trying to deliberately disrespect you.
Yeah, just think elves that live in a stone and you're fine.
That's
basically
exactly what I thought. Yeah, absolutely. The stone elves. Anyway, so the other question that we had was, in terms of your job then, head of safeguarding, what's your kind of day-to-day activity look like? Like, what is it you actually do while you're at work?
That's a difficult question. I guess the great thing about my job is it changes every day.
Mm-hmm.
So I obviously work closely with Annette, who's my deputy in the safeguarding team, who I believe you guys work with as well.
Yes, indeed.
And also support our team of advisors, and Ewan, who's our administrator as well. So it's part of it is working within the team. I'm really glad that I've started taking over the kind of caseload of students up at the Parkway and AEC sites. So that's something I really enjoy, obviously working face to face with students, or in this case, contacting people via Teams as we're doing at the moment, and talking to people. But I've been able to come into the on-site provision that we've got, which is where I met you, Dan.
Yes.
So it's great to work face to face with students and support them on a one-to-one basis. And beyond that, it's around supporting the college as a whole. So writing policy and procedure, working with the senior leadership team, and supporting some of the sort of more high profile concerns that we've got coming through. So could be individual students, could be supporting a head of department or something like that, and running some of those more high profile investigations.
Cool.
So it's always different. That's the great thing.
Yeah, that's amazing. I like the fact that there's a dynamic for coming from you, Jonny. That's like you're obviously on the ground doing that face to face stuff or teams to team stuff. Everyone want to call it. But actually, as well, you're and I think it's good for the students to at least hear this. I think the staff probably get this. Head of safeguarding suggests it and says it all. But you're very much a VIP. Very much a VIP.
I don't know if I'd go that far, but
Take it, Jonny. Go on, accept it, live in it, live into the VIP-ness. Go on.
Well, I think most of the staff will know me anyway, because I also run quite a lot of the safeguarding related training and stuff like that for teams there. Don't know about very important, but it's definitely an important job. If I'm not an important person.
Sure, nice, cool.
So, Jonny, I've got another question for you, and I promise this will be the last one. So, tell us about the challenges you've overcome. Maybe in your career, maybe in your life in general, if you care to share that.
Yeah, so I was trying to. You guys let me know about a couple of these questions. I was really having to think about this one. I've done some pretty random things. Career-wise, I worked in prisons for a long time, which is challenging in itself. It's a pretty challenging environment to be working in. I was doing substance misuse support and also mental health support for prisoners, and meeting them on the day that they got released and kind of taking them out into the community and stuff. So that was pretty challenging in terms of, career wise. I've done some other random things. I moved to Norway to do a master's degree, but haven't quite sorted out my accommodation in time, because I was coming straight from another job that I was doing in America. So it was all very confusing, but ended up living in a forest in Norway for about a week, trying to find a job so that I could pay for myself to live and to study. But again, that was kind of a challenge that I created for myself, but it was a worthwhile one, I think, in the long run, in terms of understanding people moving to different countries and trying to get set up in a new scenario. But I guess the really obvious one that comes to mind at the moment is just dealing with the current situation that we're all living in. I've got a family at home. I've got a young daughter who is she's in primary school, and my wife is also trying to work from home. I'm trying to work from home, trying to support both of the kids we've got here who are doing different school stuff. So that it's a busy place to be trying to work, but also all of the well-being elements of this. I love going out. I love going to see live music and stuff like that, and obviously all of that is off the table at the moment.
Yep, for sure.
And I think that's the same for all of our staff and all of our students as well. People who are used to being able to get up and come into college and do their studies are now finding that they are at home all the time. And especially, I think, for our post-16 students, being around your friends at that age is much more important for you in a way than being around your family.
Definitely.
I know my older daughter, who's 12, she would definitely agree with that. She would far rather be talking to her friends and hanging out with her friends than she would be sitting around with us. And I think there's a lot of challenges in there for people. There's a lot of challenges for people's mental health and their well-being as well at this point. So I think that's really a difficult time for everybody at the moment.
Absolutely.
Yeah, definitely.
So I mean, I think while I'm on, it's a good opportunity to talk about, if it's all right with you guys, talk about some of the stuff that we've got available for students.
Yes, please.
Go for it. Absolutely.
So we've got a student well-being page on the website, which links to everything from finance and careers, and how to manage your online learning and things like that. But the specific area that I've been inputting into and my team's been inputting into is around the kind of well-being and the mental health and well-being elements of that. So we've got Together All, which is an online platform. It's got a range of kind of chat areas that you can go to, lots of information, lots of resources on there, and everyone can access that. So that's open to staff, all staff and students.
Awesome.
And all you need to do is put in your @City of Bristol username, email, sorry, and that's your access. It'll then prompt you to create your own username and password and stuff. But it's also got details on that page about how to contact the safeguarding and welfare team. We can then refer people. We've got in-house counselling, so we can refer people to counselling. And just a reminder really about the support that students can get from teachers and study coaches as well.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Can I just quickly add to that as well, Jonny? That's a very good point, actually, for our listeners as well, who'll be joining us at some point. I think if you are listening to this and you're a student and you are feeling in a situation like that, please do reach out. There's nothing wrong with asking for help. I just want to make that abundantly clear. In fact, this is a follow-on from what we discussed with Andy in the last podcast as well, the principles. So yeah, right. If you need help, do reach out. So it's very important.
Yeah, definitely. We've been receiving quite a few referrals, as you can imagine, through our My Concern system. So there's obviously, there's lots of people who are struggling in a range of different ways at the moment. And I think it goes for all of us. I think that the key thing is, don't feel like you are, somehow you're the only one in this situation. I've got friends of mine who are single people living by themselves, and they're really struggling at the moment with, feelings of loneliness and feeling quite down about that. We equally, like I say, there's lots of people living in big family environments, students and staff alike, where that presents its own challenge.
Yeah.
I don't think that there's anybody who is having a particularly great time of it. And so it's just a way of, reach out if you need support. Also have a think about what you could do for yourself, what you might be able to put in to your day-to-day life that might, reduce some of that stress. So I've started running around a lot at weird times of the day and night. So it's, getting up early, going out for a run, anything to try and switch things up a bit and get a bit of a change in there.
That sounds good. Well, what we'll do is we'll be able to put the link to that in our description, Jonny. And so if you guys are watching this now or listening to this now, then you'll find the link there. And obviously, if you're a student or a member of staff of the college, then you'll be able to access it directly from there. Just in case you didn't already know about it, and you do now, and you want to get access to it, we'll make that happen.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Amazing. Thank you, Jonny. All
No
right.
problem at all.
All right, cool. So we've got to go, Jonny, a little bit in terms of what he does at the college and his capacity around the college, but we're going to get to know him now in a slightly more unique fashion with a little round of Would You Rather. Govinda and I have come up with our own Would You Rathers. So, Govinda, who wants to go first here, dude? Do you want to go first? Shall I go first?
I'll go first because you went first last time.
All right, go for it. All right, then. All right.
Right, Jonny, you ready for this?
As ready as I'm ever going to be, yeah.
Okay. I promise I'll be nice, okay? Right, the question for you, would you rather, Jonny, is... Jonny, would you rather have the ability to fly or have the ability to time travel?
Well, that's a tough one. I think flying. Flying would be a lot of fun.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
I quite like heights anyway. So.
Seemed like an easy decision for you. All right, great.
Yeah, what's not cool about time travel, Jonny? Why do you not want to be Doctor Who? What's going on?
No, I wouldn't mind a bit of time travel. I'm not very good at making decisions where I've got loads of different options.
Fair.
So I think the whole of time, past and future, would be probably too much for me to.
No,
work
sure,
out.
That's true actually, because you got it right.
Unless it was a Back to the Future scenario where you just accidentally put in a specific date and then go back to the 1950s.
Yeah. Oh, I've got to watch that film.
Good point.
Thanks for bringing that up, Jonny.
Yeah,
that's a great film.
It just tails off slightly once you get past Back to the Future too.
yeah, it does, right? Absolutely. Yeah. Don't know where that came from. Okay, good. All right then. So, Jonny, you'd rather fly than time travel, but would you rather be everything the color blue represented or everything the color green represented?
I'm trying to think of all of the things that could be represented by those two colors. But I'm gonna have to go green.
Okay.
I'm a bit of a nature geek.
Okay.
I love trees and I love being outside, so I guess I'll go with green and hope that it just brings natural surroundings and not anything disgusting that could be appropriate by the colour green.
I mean, I don't know if it's still happening in today's children's cartoons, but I know it happened in the cartoons I grew up watching, and green was always represented by mutations and hazardous waste and things like stuff like that cause like superhero powers. Also nature, but maybe there's a nice hybrid blend there for you, So...
Flying due to the toxic waste that I've up in.
Exactly. Yeah. Okay.
Could be a go. I'm going to try and keep a positive spin on it and just imagine a nice being outside in some nice woodland.
Yeah, sure. That makes sense.
Rather than getting dunked in the waste, I think. But thanks for the option.
No, that's all right. unless that was low key your option, you just wanted to cover up for the show,
Yeah, well, we'll talk about that once this is all over.
Imagine. Oh dear. Okay then. So Jonny, I know we gave you the opportunity. Do you have a would you rather for us today?
Oh, I can't think of one right now. No, I can't think of one. I'm gonna have to think of one and see if I can come back on with you guys at another point. I'll work out a whole range of these scenarios.
Yeah.
Come back onto the podcast another time and do some really tricky ones to try and do.
Sure. Okay, then. No problem. No problem. As a reminder to our listeners that if you want to give a would you rather to the staff or any of our guests, then obviously email us at thegdshowbristol@gmail.com, or now you can email us at thegdShow@cityofbristol.ac.uk. We've got a new email address. Woo! So yeah, send us your would you rathers. But thank you so much, Jonny, for coming on the show. Really appreciate you joining us today.
Thank you very much, guys. It's been a pleasure.
Amazing.
Cheers. Thank you, Jonny.
You're listening to the G&D Show. Remember, if you have any interest in sending us comments or questions, of course, do send them out. If you want to book us for one-to-ones or book us for a group session, be it through Gigi, where he fills in your time, or if you want to send them to me in my team's classrooms, and of course, you can put them on my time. It's absolutely fine. Just email us at thegdshowbristol@gmail.com. Let's get back to the show. Okay, buddy, here we go. Here we go. You challenged me. You challenged me to some heavy would you rathers this week. So
Oh no.
you said you were going to bring it. So let it be brought. Let it be brought, friend. I don't know why I had to stutter so much.
I think this is the moment everyone's been waiting for. I think people probably find this segment quite amusing of our podcast.
Yeah, well, yeah, hopefully. Again, remember, if you guys have your own would you rathers, send them to us and let us read them out. Oh God, blimey, hiccups makes me. I'm not drunk, guys. I've only drunk peach squash. That's all it is. I haven't had alcohol. I haven't drunk a single drop of alcohol for like a month.
Yeah.
A month? Seriously, it's not even dry January. I'm just like, I think the only drug that's in my system now that I can actually say is caffeine. That's it.
Yeah.
That's all that's it.
Oh, God,
and one day the caffeine shall go, and I shall be teetotal. Let it be known. Let the world see how. I won't. Never mind.
You're making it really hard for me, considering that I haven't touched caffeine for 2 weeks, right?
Oh, all right, showing off. How am I making it hard for you, man? You've already got it.
I'm getting a craving now for an espresso. That's the issue, right? Right.
No fair.
Taste so much. Right. Yeah. Let's get stuck into this.
Go on then. Hit me with it.
Right. I'm going first, right?
Go on,
okay. I did have another one. I did have one, but actually midway through I changed my mind. So
wow, okay.
Right. So because this one's a good one as well. So okay. I'll keep the other one for the next podcast. Right. Where is this one? So would you rather be a child for the rest of your life, or would you rather be an adult?
Okay, for my own. Oh, man, you asked. Okay, the reason I'm going to say adult easily. Much rather be an adult. But the reasons I'm not going to give them all. And right. No. I don't even know. No, okay, I'll say it. So I would rather be an adult because I enjoy the freedoms of adulthood more than the freedoms of adulthood outweigh the freedoms of childhood. Okay. And the limitations of childhood, that while they do outweigh the limitations of adulthood, the freedoms of adulthood are far freer.
Yeah, I get you.
You know what I mean? Like
I get you.
I love paying for my own home. I love paying for my own food. I love being able to just go and be like, I want to go and buy a laptop for myself, so I go and buy a laptop for myself. I haven't done it yet, but I will. I love being able to build my own computer. I built my own computer. Proud of this baby. Bought all the pieces, put it together. It worked. Amazing. My snowboard, got to do that. Couldn't do that as a kid. Also there's loads of things that I'm like, being an adult is great, but I think managing the responsibility that comes with adulthood is difficult. But when you nail that, it's fine. Once you've nailed the responsibility part, it's fine. But being a child, yeah, you don't have any responsibilities. You can crap yourself and life's good. But But you still are at the mercy of whether or not you can go somewhere if your mum or dad's free, or your guardian's free or whatever. And you can't just go off and buy the latest game because you don't have the money. You need someone to do that for you. You need so many things done for you as a kid. It blows. So give me adulthood every day of the week.
Sounds good to me.
And I'll learn it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Should I ask you how you would answer that one?
What?
Yeah,
me?
I'm going to. Yeah, you do it. Well, it's gone.
No.
What would you pick? What would you rather? Because we don't do that.
I mean, at the risk of sounding like I'm copying you in a certain way, because actually I agree.
Okay.
Childhood is amazing, but I'll definitely be an adult anytime.
Copycat. I'm such a trendsetter.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah, it's got to be adulthood. Only for the pure reason, the fact that I don't really need to rely on too many people. I know that sounds quite naughty. Yeah.
No, it's true. It's true.
Yeah. That doesn't mean I don't like people. I do have people I can lean on, just in case people are listening to this.
Govinda doesn't like people. Gigi doesn't like people.
Ooh, there we go. There we go. There we go.
No, I hear what you're saying. Yeah, I hear what you're saying. You're absolutely right. Yeah, it's not. Yeah, it's not the reliance of like I don't need anyone. Obviously, we all need someone, and we're really seeing that during lockdown. But it's more the fact that like if I need to go somewhere, I don't need someone to take me there. If I want to buy something, I'm not waiting for someone else to buy it for me. I can get these things myself.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, totally. I get it. Cool. Okay then. Right. So here we go. This one's for you. I'm just going to go soft. I'm not going to go with the birth thing like I said I was going to do last week, because I'm just going to leave that one alone. I'm not going to touch it. I'm just going to leave it alone. We're not going back there. Never touching it again. There we go. So, would you rather be forced to sing along or dance along to every single song you hear?
Oh, that's a really tough one, buddy. Really tough, that is.
Wow, I give you scorpions and spiders, but this is tough.
This is tough, man.
You're backwards. I knew this. That's exactly why I picked this, because I was trying to give you a tough one. I thought, oh, this simple stuff is going to be, that'll be it.
I'll tell you why this is a difficult one, is because I like lyrics. I like writing poetry and I like writing lyrics. So for me, singing naturally is good, but I'm definitely more of a natural dancer than I'm a singer. That's the problem. So for that very reason, I'm going to have to go, as much as my feet would hate me for this, I'm going to have to dance to all the songs. Dance to all the songs. Yeah, I think that would be a delight, that would. Yeah.
Okay, fair enough.
How about yourself, Dan?
I think I'd rather be forced to sing.
Sing.
Because I kind of do anyway.
Yeah, I've heard you sing.
Yeah.
I've heard you sing.
Yeah.
Pelting them out.
I do. I'll give it some welly. So I prefer to sing along. I've lost my dancing rhythm. I actually used to like dance, not professionally, semi-professionionally, but it's all gone
just
now,
being modest now, ladies and gents.
No, it's no, seriously. I like did a little bit of breakdancing and stuff like that. It was cool. But no, I would much rather sing. I love a sing. I love a sing along. The sing alongs always make me think of Disney, and Disney's a wonderful time. It just makes me think of like Moulin Rouge and just all the stuff I love singing to.
What's your favorite Disney movie, Dan? In case the audience are wanting to know.
I love it. was anyone wondering what my favorite Disney film was? Because I reckon that was you asking. That was you. Don't put that on them. They're not asking me that question, Gigi. Don't put that on them.
Dad.
How dare you?
You like the way I said that under, right? It was.
I think you did, absolutely. Hey, Gigi, in case the audience are wondering, what time are you available for a phone call on Monday?
Oh my god! He's caught me out of my bluff.
Pin that on the listener. How dare you?
Right.
If you're offended by being utilised as a tool for Gigi's personal gains, email us at thegdshowbristol@gmail.com.
But you say that, Dan, I guarantee you there's going to be someone listening to this who's thinking, cool, blimey, what is it? Is it the Hunchback of Notre Dame? Is it Lion King?
Is it the Hunchback of Notre Dame? I mean, I can't, actually, I'll be honest, I can't easily pick an actual favourite, to be really frank, because they all do different things in different ways. I think Zootopia is a fantastic film and does Zootropolis. Zootopia. Zootopia sends a very, very great message. That was a very strong anti-racist message. Soul recently
Oh yeah,
sends
we were
a
talking about that.
phenomenal message about purpose. I think it's a fantastic film about purpose. The Lion King tells a fantastic story about hierarchy and the almost the kind of farce of monarchy.
Yeah, and also the hero's journey, by the way.
And yeah, absolutely, yeah, the hero's journey. Um, they all have an element of follow your dreams about you. I think The Princess and the Frog does that fascinatingly well. Some of the older films, I mean, I think about films like The Little Mermaid. I like that film. It's fun, but let's be honest, it's terrible message. Terrible message. Give up part of your identity for a person you just met when you're not even of age. The whole thing is just horrific. It's just a horrific tale.
Really is, isn't it, when you
Prince Eric is the worst as well, because he saw a girl on the beach one day and just thought he'd marry her. The whole thing is problematic as hell.
Yeah.
No, terrible. Very bad, but don't do that. None of the values of old Disney films are really good.
No.
Let's just leave those there. But no, Disney Pixar, absolutely. I mean, the whole thing about Toy Story and friendship and loyalty, mwah, beautiful. What other Pixar films are there? A Bug's Life. Do you know what? A Bug's Life isn't Disney Pixar. That's DreamWorks, right? But A Bug's Life, it's actually no wonder why I lean the way I do politically with my views on things and how I see the world. Because when I look at the films that I've watched, namely kids' films as well, and there's a whole thing about this, like a whole study that shows that there are films that certain people have watched in their childhood that would absolutely dictate how they view the world today based on like political standing. So A Bug's Life is one of them. And there's a monumental scene where, have you seen The Bug's Life?
Yes, I absolutely.
Yeah. So you know the scene where the crickets or the grasshoppers are all in the bar, and the guy's like throwing the seeds at them, going, "Oh, does that hurt?" And they're like, "No," haha. And he's like, "Oh, does that hurt?" And he's like, "No," haha. And he goes, "Haha, how about this?" And it opens up the entire tub, and all the seeds come pouring out and crushes all of them. And he makes a point about how he's very aware that they are outnumbered. And while one at a time is no match for them, if they all stood up, if all of the working people stood up against the ruling people, then they would be toppled in a moment. And it's little things like that. You're like, and then and then the other one was a film about robots. I can't remember the name of that film. But again, it was another film where the bad guy in the film was this like business person, this corporation that was actually using old parts of supposedly used robots, old robots that were out of service. But he was putting them out of service so he could use their parts to make his own product. So he's literally using the livelihood of the supposedly lower class working robots to support his own business. Again, another really strong message there in film. And these are kids' films. These are kids' films. I think what we got to be, you can't shy away from is that often the bad guy in a lot of movies, and you can even say in like the Avengers, the bad guy often represents a certain real world character that I can't point out because otherwise I'm just being far too literal and I'll get in trouble. A certain character type that we know exists in the world today, and films constantly telling us how to overthrow it. It's all the time. It's just like, hey, by the way, just so you know, in case you hadn't wondered. But yeah, that's why I love Disney Pixar and why I love so many of them, because actually they constantly reinvigorate this value in me. And I'm like, yeah, basically.
Yeah. No, I love that. I love how, I mean, people watch it for entertainment, which is fine. We just see the surface level of the narrative, but I like the way you delve into the sub-narrative because there always is one.
There's always one.
Yeah. Unless it's a terrible action movie, which name I'm not going to mention in case we get sued. Yeah, so...
Go on, say the rhyme. You don't get sued if you say the rhyme. Rhyme it. Please, go on, rhyme it.
Dark and Curious. Did you get it?
Yes.
Good.
But I totally do and do not want to watch that film.
Oh my god. The only thing I thought of, Dan. Apologies to the listeners.
Do you know what? I'll tell you now. If all else fails in my life, if everything goes to pot and I've got nothing left in my life, I'm going to start a podcast called Dark and Curious.
Oh my god!
I'm going to do it. It's just going to be me asking questions, having people on, and just what exactly is a baked bean?
Oh my god! Oh.
Yes. Okay, I got it. I'm with you now.
Terrible movie, by the way.
How dare you? I know what you mean. The action for the sake of action.
Yeah, correct. Yeah. Just switch your mind off, enjoy it.
Exactly. Yes, and I think there's a time and a place for those sorts of films. Absolutely. Good. Okay. Well, that concludes this episode of the G&D Show. Thank you very much for listening. And I have to say it again because I'm going to keep saying it every single time. I'm going to say it, and then Gigi's going to say it after me. I'm pointing in the wrong direction. He's over there. I'm going to say it, and then Gigi's going to say it after me. Okay. If you have any questions or comments, please email us at thegdshowbristol@gmail.com.
Correct. So if you have any questions, email to the G&D Show.
Bristol@gmail.com. Yeah, exactly.
That's the one.
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah. Good. Okay. Fantastic. Guys, it's a goodbye from me.
It's a goodbye from Gigi.
Indeed. Have a wonderful week. We will catch up with you next week. Until then, ta-ta for now.
Bye-bye.
You've been listening to the G&D Show. Thank you very much. If you've got any comments or questions, or if you're a student at City of Bristol College and you want some one-to-one conversations with myself or Govinda, then please do email us at thegdshowbristol@gmail.com. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you in another episode.